part 5. Goodness. There's an old saying, you know, it's like an old prayer. I said it goes, grant me the strength to change the things that I can, and grant me the acceptance to, or grant me the ability to accept things I can't. I said, and you know, that's what we have to do. I said we have to look for and utilize our strength to change the things around us for the better that we can change. I said, and we have to accept the fact that there are some things that we just can't change, some things that are just beyond us. I said, and unfortunately, your mom and I, our relationship is one of those things. We'll never change it. You know, we'll never be together again. I said, I know it hurts. I said, but you have to accept it, and you have to learn to move on. I said, I know you haven't moved on. I said, but I said, it's something that you do have to do. I said, it's not something you have to do right now. I said, it's going to take time. I said, but when you can finally move on, you're going to feel better because it's not going to hurt as bad. I said, it's probably always going to hurt. I said, some wounds do. Some wounds never fully heal. I said, and this is probably going to be one of those. I said, but, I said, they do scar. I said, and while they may never go away, I said, it'll get better. I said, but you have to let it, son. I said, you have to let it get better. I said, you have to learn to accept the fact that you can't change it, so it does you no good to dwell on it. I said, it's up to us to change the things we can. I said, and we can't change the circumstances between me and your mom. I said, but we can change the circumstances for us. I said, we can improve our lives as they are now. I said, you know, we can get stronger here. I said, we can get better. I said, there's a lot of changes that we can make that'll make our lives better and make it easier for us to accept the things we can't change. And he understood that. He did. And he seemed to, he was like, okay, Daddy. He said, yeah. He said, I agree with that. But I couldn't fucking believe that, you know, that she said that to him. I could not believe it. A low-flying plane. We got a little airport on the north end of town. There was a couple of them. Headed west. I wonder if they're thinking we're going to have landfall and they got money to have their own little planes and they're getting out of Dodge. I'd love to have my own little plane. An old Cessna Skymaster. I'll talk about that one of these days. Super cool little plane. That was always something I wanted to learn to do, is fly. But yeah, I couldn't believe she said that shit to him, you know? And I sat down yesterday and tried to make a video right here on the porch. I had a beer. I did, you know, splurge on myself this last payday and bought myself a 6-pack Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Good stuff. Good stuff. I could not calm down. I was hot, man. I was a honey badger, a wolverine, and a Tasmanian devil all wrapped up into one with a giant fucking toothache. I was pissed. Pardon my French. I wanted to call her up and cuss her out so damn bad, but wouldn't do nothing but make things harder for the kid. So I started blasting some anger music last night, and was just doing chores, sweeping, taking some lemon pledge and wiping down the handrail, the stairs, and the fireplace mantle, and blasting some hardcore heavy metal, and just trying to exist within the maelstrom that was swirling around in my head. And today she's picking him up from school, and they're going down to her mother's for the weekend. Her twin sister's coming down, bringing her family. He gets to see his cousins. It's good. I will miss him dearly. I won't get to have him again until Sunday night. It's going to be a long few days for me. I'm going to try to drown myself in work as much as I'm able. And get through it. But that's pretty much what my life is now. Just surviving until the next time I see my son. If the weather does clear up today, I'll come out and show off that mower. I just show it off. I mean, I get to work on it. I don't know. Show it off. I need to do some more work on the chicken tractor. I need to show off the Jeep. I'm going to try to get some help on GoFundMe with that. Speaking of GoFundMe, the link will be in the description of all of these video chapters. I hate continuing to ask for help, but until I don't need help anymore, I have to ask for help. So if you can and would like to donate, it would be much appreciated. If you can't or you don't want to, I understand. And please don't feel pressured or guilted into doing it. I never want anyone to feel like that. For those of you that want to get on here and attack me for using GoFundMe, I will politely turn you to another support method that starts with go and ends with yourself. If you don't like it, go elsewhere. I don't know what to tell you. I need help, and unfortunately it's the only source of help I've been able to utilize. I don't like it, I don't want to do it, but I need it, and as long as I need it, I'm going to continue to ask for it. I'm hoping to get to a point where I don't need it anymore, and I will be 10,000 times more happy than you ever could be when I can discontinue my GoFundMe campaign. But that is not today, so I'm going to continue to ask for help. You can take your criticisms and reasons why I shouldn't be using GoFundMe and stuff them up your strata chakawala, in the words of the great James Woods. Oh man, oh man, oh man. We can either scream or laugh, right? And I think screaming would feel better, but laughing won't get the cops called. I'm gonna jump off here and go get some more coffee. Hope y'all had a good weekend, and I'll get back on here maybe later today and show off that mower, something different, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye bye.